Hello, everybody. How are we doing? How goes it? Miss Stray Chroma, hello.
What up, dog? What's up?
How are you? Guys, hello. Everybody, welcome. Courtney,
Hello, everyone.
thank you for strategizing that raid with me. Let me get my bag of laundry out of the way. Scuffed. Everything's scuffed. My room's a mess.
Always.
Oh.
Every day.
How are you, Courtney?
I'm pretty good. I just obviously just got done streaming, coming to raid you. But when you asked me to do this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally down. But then you were like, 7 p.m. That sounds good. But I was like, wait, but my streams usually go for like 4 or 5 hours. Like, how am I gonna do this? But it worked out. We figured it out.
Listen, I love. First, thank you for working around the schedule. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It does.
No, it works for me. My lack of planning is not your fault.
Let me see. Wait, let me see if I can. Let me see how a flip looks really quick. This is how I end up like having problems, but I do it anyway. Transform. And it's like you're looking at me. Would you look at that? Oh my god, a trained podcast professional.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How are we doing though? How is your stream, Miss ID80 Queen? As I just heard
Yeah.
as I just heard in your stream, which is hilariously true in the best way.
Yeah, no, I know that I built a lot of 80s because it's like a budget board and it's kind of a meme slash branding now, but it was good. Yeah, it was like a custom commission, and it's like the first keyboard that I've purchased for myself in quite some time, so I was really happy with it.
What was that play? So was that for the ID80 in the beginning? In the beginning of stream, the Chroma branding.
Yes.
It is the cutest thing I've ever seen. I love it.
Here's the ID80 plate with my little logo on it.
It looks so good.
So like ID80 or like Idubao, they provide the plate files for their gasket mounted board, but they only sell it in, or like the group buy was for brass, and I was like, brass and gasket mounted doesn't seem great. So I decided to get an FR4 plate for it, and I had help from my Twitch community to make that happen, and it turned out really nice. So
I mean, listen, it worked out. I like the nice personal touch. First off, I'm a big fan of like slapping branding on anything.
you gotta keep everything like cohesively themed.
Oh my! But how's your week been so far? We're 2 days into the week. Everything been good though?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, like, there's been like a lot of thunderstorms here, but aside from like extreme weather and climate change, things are fine. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I've been at work. I'm working from home tomorrow. I'm very excited. But
Oh, nice.
no, I was watching the stream. I was watching your stream while I was at work. Want to raise Courtney's volume just a tad? Seems a bit lower than yours. I think I could do that.
Hello, this is a test of the volume through Discord to make sure that it is balanced with Manoli.
Let's see. I think we're at a good level. If anything, I want you to be louder. You're more interesting than me.
Oh no,
But
no, you're a very interesting person too, Mr. Calves.
Mr. Calves. Oh my! But I guess the best way to start this off is how did you end up in the keyboard community? Because
Man.
I feel like everyone has like a weird way of getting in, but also has an incredibly similar way of getting into it.
Yeah, kind of. It's like it's a very specific hobby, so you need to like fall into a very small set of circumstances, but each circumstance is like quite unique, right? So just like a bit of backstory on like my keyboard journey. Like I started in 2015, so I've been in the hobby for quite some time, but I actually got into custom keyboards because I'm a gamer. And I used to play this one game called Osu. I'm actually wearing an Osu t-shirt today.
I was gonna say Octagon Cakes said it better. Shirt tells it all.
It's true, yeah. So I used to play Osu, and Osu is a rhythm game. And a lot of the top players in the game at the time, they were using mechanical keyboards, and I was like, oh, that makes sense because a mechanical keyboard is going to be like a smoother, different experience than a laptop, and it's going to give you like the advantage of being able to like stream, notes really quickly, and just like it'll enhance your gamer performance, right? So my first keyboard was like a Corsair keyboard, but then from there I found the mechanical keyboard subreddit, and that's when I got into like custom keys. So my first keyboard was like a Poker 2, and then from there, I kind of like dabbled in pre-built boards for a bit, and I settled on this like Vermillo keyboard, right? And I had that thing for years. And so I think with hobbies that are expensive, you like buy what you like, and then you kind of exit, and then every once in a while you check to see what's going on. So this time around last year, it was my time to check out what was new in mechanical keyboards, and I was like, oh my god. They can be cute now. Like you can customize keyboards now. That's fucking awesome because like obviously like keyboards and like the aesthetic of like tech is very either neutral or maybe even more masculine leaning. And just like I saw like DSA Magic Girl for the first time, like my mind was like fucking blown away. So I fell down the rabbit hole again of like looking for custom keyboards, and then I realized you could like build your own keyboard from scratch. And like I had built my own PC before, so like it was not like a foreign subject to me or anything. And that's how I kind of ended up where I am here with custom. So.
I remember coming. I think a lot of people found you in the similar fashion on the historic day, and I know you know what day I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
There was to paint the picture. There was I think I got like 8 pings from 8 different discords, all telling me to go to this girl's stream named Stray Chroma to like go check out this community member. She's building a keyboard. Go to her. I'm like okay, and I went. I'm like, what's going on? Like it was just madness. Like every streamer. Because there wasn't a lot of streamers then, but
no,
all of
really
them
wasn't.
But all of them were in your stream.
I know. It was like so like this apparently the story goes that like it was like Alex Odos and Apiary and Teja and Sullivan and all these other people. They're like in a Discord call. And Alex, he tells it to me and he's saying like, oh, we were arguing about something dumb. And then he was trying to like calm everyone down. And it's like, guys, go check out this streamer. You know, this is wholesome. We don't need to, you don't need to be fighting or whatever. And I was like streaming. I was like building like a GK64 or something. And there's like so many people in my chat. I'm like, did I get rated? The Twitch doesn't give me notification. Why are there who are you people? And like that was just a crazy day. And I remember that day being the day that like everyone showed up and like gave me their support, and it really gave me my jump start in like streaming and, you know, continuing to propel my interest in custom keyboard.
It was that's still like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in stream, because it was, I'd say like you, me, Ben, Tim, a lot of us like all kind of started at the same time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You like I like the stumbling upon the way I stumbled and found you and everyone did. It was amazing. I'm like, I need to come back. So cute, so woo, very kawaii, very very uwu. We are big fans of woo here. As I'm sure you know.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like we have the heart rate check on my channel specifically because of that. It's really unforgettable.
I think about it sometimes. It's amazing, like how like used to it you've gotten. Because I like, and not really. I don't think it's weird to say, but I remember you're very like nervous and kind of like figuring out how to handle 150 people out of nowhere in your stream. Because what, like, if you don't mind me, like, how many people would you say like you think you averaged before that, or like on typical streams?
I was a little baby streamer. I remember like. The first stream where I was like, oh my god, 18 people are in my chat today. Like, that's fucking cool. And like, it still is. Like, it doesn't really matter to me how many people were there because like everyone's really engaged. But at the same time, like at the time, I was like, you know, maybe 15 to 20 people. Like, and I only streamed twice a week back then. Now I stream 4 days a week. So it's really crazy.
And it's like literally like I feel like you took those reins and just rolled with it after that, which is amazing. Like,
yeah, I kind of felt like I was talking to my partner at that, and he was saying that like, holy shit, like you, like this is the kingmaker, like the people who are prominent in the community, like they noticed you, and like it's gonna be really hard to fuck it up from here, so just try your best, and, like just keep going with it, and like I'm sure you'll end up like fine. And like that is what really encouraged me, because like I was really nervous, right? Because there weren't a lot of women in the community at the time, and I was like, I used to stream games, like can I really make this keyboard thing work? And I had like a lot of doubt in the beginning, but like really like not to pull the community is so amazing card again, but like it really is like that's why I streamed today, because like that day was like really life changing. Even like I think that word's appropriate. Yeah.
I think it's okay. I think it flies. But I mean like you say like not to pull that card, but there's a reason everyone pulls that card. It's because like 99% of this community is amazing. Like everyone's very sweet knit. Also, ooh baby, ooh, that's just for you, King. Nobody else. Don't tell anybody about that. But just I do like talking about keyboards, but I'm kind of interested in things outside of that, as I'm sure you know, as I'm knocking my rig out because I keep swaying back and forth. But out of curiosity, like I know you, as you know, MacHappy, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. You're aside from, we'll get back to the ID80 Queen on that more maybe a little later. But I'm curious about the viola. Because I feel like, is there anyone else in the keyboard community, at least that you can think of, because I can't, at least off the top of my head, that is like we have Tim and Ben were doing their singing bits. Yura can sing, but she chooses not to. I think you're the only one that does instrument streams, though.
I know that Minterly, she plays piano.
Minterly does play piano. Minterly did do piano streams.
She's like into more than one kind of keyboard, right? I don't know of any other musicians. I know that Ben, she also plays guitar, doesn't she? Like
Ben does play guitar.
Yeah, so, but I mean, viola is already a rare instrument. Like to find another keyboard viola enthusiast is like asking to find a unicorn. I really don't think there's another person.
Straight Chroma is a confirmed unicorn, just so you guys know. But just a confirmed unicorn. But how did you guys play from school? Did you like pick it up like in college? Like where did viola come from? Or why did you choose it, I guess?
I guess if I had to think about like my life, like viola is my oldest hobby. So I started playing the viola because like in middle school, so like around like 10 years old, you have to pick an elective course. So people pick like band, orchestra, choir, or they do home ec, or they do like CrossFit or something. And at the time I was just like, yeah, orchestra sounds cool. I know what a violin is. And I basically learned how to play viola through like my public school system. So I went into my orchestra class for the first time, and my orchestra teacher, her name is Miss V, and she was a violist herself. And she like obviously taught us about like all of the different instruments like violin, viola, cello, bass. But after describing like the instruments and getting to know like the world of orchestra a little bit more, I decided that viola, like, it just seemed cool because it's like the underdog instrument. Like the violinists, they're such divas, and cellists, you know, like have this big fucking instrument. Like I'm 5 feet tall and I can't play the double bass either. So like really, of all the options, to me, my 10-year-old brain thought that the viola seemed pretty cool, and it's something that stuck with me. Like I played it all through middle school and high school. In high school, I had a little bit of experience with playing chamber music, and chamber music is basically like a smaller orchestra. It focuses a lot on like classical music, and I actually have competed at like the national level for viola and for orchestra as well, and I have won nationally, so it, you know, I think I'm pretty good.
Wait. You are at one point a nationally ranked viola player.
I am a national viola champion. Yes, that's
number one at a national level.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's called the there's this thing in the United States.
You can't just like subtly you can't just like sweep that under. It's like, yeah, by the way, I was a national champion at my instrument. Just in case you're curious. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, it's true. So Grandmaster. Yeah. Yeah, so basically there's this thing called the American String Teacher Association, and they have like a national competition each year that is based around like high school level orchestra, middle school and high school level orchestras around the country that compete against each other to, you know, like in terms of performance and stuff. And I don't know how else to describe it. It's music, right? But yeah, so my chamber orchestra group, which is something that like in high school, I would literally spend like 6 hours a day practicing viola. Like I would have my orchestra class every day, and then, you know, lunchtime, and then we have to do after school practice, and then my chamber practices go all the way until like 6 p.m. So it's something that I really worked towards, and yeah, I just really love the viola. Beyond high school, I also played with the Boston College Symphony. I played with the Longwood Medical Symphony. It's just something that when I was in school, you know, like my instructors, they told me that like music, you know, keeps your life really well rounded. Music is a discipline that teaches you things that you can't really learn in like a classroom setting. And I found that was very important to me, like growing up, is important to me as a person. And so I tried to like continue to join my orchestras past high school. And yeah, I still play now, but I mean, COVID, you can't really play in an orchestra during COVID. So that's the only roadblock so far.
That'd be a really impressive Zoom call. Because like a nice Zoom orchestra setting, like that'd be impressive. I mean,
I imagine a Zoom call with like lag though, like everyone playing the same piece but like desynced by 4 seconds.
Like they're so close. Like it would be perfect if it wasn't a Zoom call.
Oh my god.
I feel like it makes sense though that like hearing like you're like ranked number one at one point. Like it doesn't. It like almost like shouldn't be shocking for the fact that you have streams where people are like send requests. I got it. Like you're just like no problem. I can do this.
I'm a little rusty, but one of so like in viola, in my experience playing viola, I have a lot of classical music training, but I also like to dick around with like pop music. And what I do is I kind of listen to a song, and I guess some people call it transcribing, where you like take the song and then put it onto viola or transfer it to a different kind of instrument. And that's something that I always like to do in my free time. And so when someone gives me a request, I'll like try to imagine it in my head and then try to play it. And sometimes it comes out really scuffed, but I mean that's kind of the fun of making music anyway. It doesn't have to be perfect.
My cousin's talked about. My cousin's a musician too, but he's talked about like perfect pitch. Is that like something you think is real or that you might have? Like I remember when I was like, I think everyone at some point has tried to play the guitar, probably in like school or something.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I think I am guilty of that and piano. Like saying like I tried to play. I learned the Office theme in Daylight by Matt and Kim, and then just called it a day for the piano. But with
That's good
guitar,
enough.
I don't need. I got my party tricks. I'm good. I got what I needed out of this. But for guitar, I was trying to like learn. I was learning chords, but I wanted to learn. I was like looking up tabs because I wanted to learn songs that I knew. And I remember showing. My cousin came over and I was like trying to learn a tab for this song called it's my favorite song ever. It's called "Song for No One" by Mike Snow. There's a really like just fun guitar riff in it. And he was like watching me kind of do it. He's like, "Play the song for me." And I played it for him, and he looked at tabs. He's like, "Those tabs are wrong." And then he just immediately, first, like without even like skipping a beat, started playing it. And I looked at him like, "What the hell are you?" Like, I was a little pissed, honestly. Like, sure, he's been a trained musician his whole life, but like, you don't have to show off. But
I mean, so like in regards to perfect pitch, I mean, like I had discussions with like other musicians, and like I don't know. I guess some people are just built different and can do that, right? But in terms of like your friend like picking up like the guitar tabs right away, or like me transcribing music, like I think people forget that like I've been playing for 14 years, like 14 years of like every day, just a little bit of effort at a time. You pick up little tricks here, like when you build keyboards and like over time you learn like little mistakes that people ask you, or things that you make. Like that's just me, but like for 14 years of experience, so like I can pick up a piece of sheet music, kind of read it right away, but that's because of like all of the effort that has been put in to that point. So like,
it's honing a craft.
Yeah, honing a craft definitely.
Do you think like I'll get to my next question actually after I ask this, but do you feel like I like that I guess like that level of discipline has like moved on past like viola? I feel like it definitely is applied to keyboards, but I feel like something like that, like training every day, like you said, it's what 6 hours you said, has to
Yeah.
like like outside of like training for music, like that level of discipline's insane, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously there's like the obvious like there's like a time commitment towards it. But I think also when it comes to music, and the thing that I kind of take away from it, that I think is more important than just the technique, is kind of like the emotional aspect of music. So like when oftentimes my orchestra teachers, they would come in and say like, all right, put everything to the side. I don't care who you're asking for prom. I don't care about your calculus homework. I don't care about, you got to focus on the task at hand. You got to be in the music. You got to have like the emotional expression that comes from within, that is expressed outward through music, right? And through that process of like really being focused on the music in front of me, on the people around me playing, and truly having that kind of mindful experience. I think that's kind of what I take away from music. That's most important to me. So when I'm like streaming, for instance, like I don't worry about like, I don't know what else I have to do after stream, or like I don't worry about like the things going on in my life. I kind of focus in on my stream, and then I'm in the moment. And I feel like music kind of taught me how to do that in the first place. Or not?
That's
Yeah.
not.
Did I say streaming? Did I say music taught me how to do that in the first place?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I understand. No, that's first off like because what do they say? It's 10,000 if you want to like learn a craft, or I don't know if it's perfect or like master craft. What is it? You have to put in your 10,000 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
I
Yeah.
think it's 10,000 hours. It sounds like you put in much more than that. To be fair, if someone wants to,
Probably, yeah, yeah.
if someone wants to do whatever 365 times 6 times however many years,
365 times
we're
6
gonna do
times
some quick
14.
maths here.
Quick maths. That's 30,000 hours.
God tier,
Yeah.
God tier
I'm
Viola
a
player. That's
triple master.
if you want to become a national, a number one nationally ranked viola player, 30,000 hours. There you go, guys. Now you know. It's as easy as that. 30,000 hours. It's as easy as that. You can do it too.
I mean, okay, if we're gonna be completely fair, you know, I was high school. That's,
I'm
6 years
kidding.
ago now. So like 8 years. That's still 17,000 hours. Oh, it's
Listen,
only 17,000 is needed.
She's almost double what they say it takes to master a craft. Almost double. So that's all it takes, guys. Easy. It's almost easier now for you. Um, what is, because I feel like I have to ask. And this is definitely something that a Google could answer, but I'm gonna ask you instead.
Sure.
Because why Google any questions you ever have? What is like the big difference between that separates a viola and a violin, and maybe like another instrument that might be closer to it that I can't think of because I hear viola and instantly think violin.
Okay, so like in the orchestra or like a stringed instrument family, there's 4 prominent instruments. You have the violin, you have the viola, you have the cello, and then you have the upright double bass. So you know what a violin is. The violin is very well known for its like high pitched kind of sweet melodies and stuff, right? People will know like Yo-Yo Ma is a famous cellist. Cello is kind of like the instrument where you sit up in a chair and play it like this. And the double bass you've seen it in like jazz instrumentation and stuff. So the main difference between the violin and the viola, the violin has a higher string than the viola. So the viola has like a deeper range of sound. Like the violin has like the E string, which is like the highest, like that's what creates like the shrill kind of high pitched sounds, I guess. And the viola has a C string on the lower end of the instrument. So it actually has the same kind of strings that a cello does, but it's kind of like 1 octave higher because it's a smaller instrument. In addition to that, a violin has like a fixed size. So the biggest violin that you can get is called a full size violin, but violas can be, I guess, infinite size. Like I play a 15.5-inch viola, and it's measured by like how long your arm is. Whereas a violin, it just stays as a small instrument. So the size difference between a violin, like the violin is smaller and the viola can get much bigger. And the reason it needs to be bigger is because of the lower string. Because the deeper the pitches, you kind of want more space within the instrument to play loudly. So.
I'm learning so much. This is why I'm glad I did this podcast. I'm learning so much. Who needs an education? Just start a podcast. Just start a podcast. Just ask someone. Just ask someone who's played the violin for 30,000 hours and you got it down. Violin. Viola. I'm sorry.
It's a viola. I think viola.
The second I said it, dude.
I think it means purple in Italian. If that helps you remember it, like viola, like
violet.
Yeah. Kinda, sorta. I don't know. It helps me remember.
So is it dumb to say that like it's kind of like the bass counterpart to the violin?
Okay, so one thing about violas.
Am I gonna get attacked for saying this?
No, I mean it's just very common. Like as a violist, you accept your place in the world. Like in the string orchestra family, like there's always like one instrument that people make fun of, and in orchestra it's the viola. So like the first time I went and chose to play viola, my viola teacher, she told me a joke, and she was like, how do you get 2 violists to play in tune? You shoot one of them. And I was like, oh my god, I'm 10 years old. This is the first joke you're telling me. This is the world I need to prepare for.
Dude, the viola's metal. The viola's fucking metal.
Oh my god. If you look up viola jokes, a lot of these are like super fucking savage.
Do you have like one off the top of your head besides that one? Because that's a sick joke. That's a sick joke.
There's like what's the difference between an onion and a viola? And it goes, no one cries when you cut open a viola. So stuff like that, just casual savagery.
Oh my god.
For no reason.
That's why there's only one national champion. I like
the reason for that is because like historically, right, when you look at like classical music, the viola was kind of like the fool's violin. If you were too stupid or too inept to play the violin, they would give you an easier part and you would play the viola. But I mean, obviously, like in modern times in contemporary music, that's definitely changed. The viola is a beautiful instrument. I think that in terms of its range, it's very close to like a human voice, and that's what I really like about it. And the viola parts could be more complex and more fun, and it's not really the fool's violin anymore. But I mean, people still play classical music, so that's just kind of the stigma that we have behind the instrument. So
I guess to go back to Octagon's comment, I guess like the thing that you got to the national championship, you met up with whoever it was, you and someone else. They handed you two single shot revolvers, made you turn around and just a duel, the classic like 10 paces and you turn around and draw, and that's how they decide the national champion.
Oh my god.
Miss Courtney does in fact have blood in her hands.
It's true.
I had.
One thing that's unique about my experience actually is that like, so I say that the viola is kind of like rare. Like I've been told my whole musical career that like if you are a good violist, you'll be able to find work because there's a lot of violinists. Everyone wants to be a good cellist, whatever. And I was told that if you stick with viola, it'll be really easy to get scholarships. It'll be really easy to find groups to play in, and that has been advantageous to me in the past. But it's actually quite strange because in my high school and in my middle school, we had a lot of violists, which was very different. Like
it must have been a bloodbath. Must have been violent, just violent.
No, I mean, I don't really think so. Like, I think that having a lot of violists kind of shaped me into the violist I am. So, like, I became like a very strong violist because of the fact we had a lot of people. But then when I go out into like I said, I played with the Boston College Symphony. Like, my section was only 4 people. Like when I left high school, and it was a very strange transition for me, coming from like eight or more violists in one section to going to like maybe I was one of 3 or whatever. Courtney just built different. Thank you.
We've known Courtney's built different. What have you had any during the stream? I tune in every so often. Have you had any specific requests that you're just like, why are you asking this? Like it's like a what the fuck request for Viola during stream?
I mean, Jordan redeemed the Rickroll yesterday, so I know how to play the Rickroll.
Can we just say a legitimate good song for a meme song, a legitimate banger?
It's true, yeah. It's famous for a reason.
I was out at the bar this weekend with some friends, and it came on. I sung every word. Like I was having a bit of a moment. Like I was getting looks, good or bad. I was definitely getting looks regardless.
That's really funny. Like it's a banger. Undeniable banger.
The word violent comes from Viola. So this kind of leads to the next thing. Speaking of violence, I have to ask, where did the uwu come from? I feel like from the second I saw your streams, just instant kawaii. Like, is it just like the color pink and you're just hammering down the theme, or? Because you've been consistent, and I give you credit that you have been incredibly consistent to the brand. I mean that in the best way possible.
Well, thank you first off, but I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first started streaming, I was just like, yeah, pink is cool. Like, I like the color pink. I've liked it for a long time, and I'm just gonna make my stream aesthetic around pink. And I don't know, strawberries are pink, red, kind of, sort of, and I kind of started with like a strawberry pink idea, and then I just committed to it because when we mentioned earlier that kind of like blew up that one day where like every keyboard streamer was in my channel. Like at that point, I didn't have a plan, so I had to just roll with what I had, and so now I have this consistent pink aesthetic. It never was intentionally supposed to be like ooh woo, but it's just really true to who I am. Like I like cute things. I like the fact that you can make custom keyboards really nice looking nowadays, and I kind of just stuck with it. It's just what I like.
I know you said like you got back into the hobby. You're like, holy shit, these can be cute now.
I know, like it's just DSA Magic Girl really fucking changed the game for me. Like I have DSA Granite over here. DSA is my favorite profile, by the way, but I have DSA Granite, and that was like my first custom keycap set that I had, and I thought, oh my god, it's so cool. It's all gray and blue and shit, and then I came back and I was like, whoa, no way. It has all the symbols and it's all pink and like, whoa, this did not exist back in my day.
It's perfect.
Oh my god, I bought all of Magic Girl, and it's gonna come in hopefully 2 months, and I'm so excited.
When did Magic Girl run? Was it September?
Probably September last year. I think
September. I remember it running. It just like that was like when I was first like getting aggressively into group buys. That was like fall through like December last year was an absolute bloodbath for my bank account. It was just like I that was when I officially was like, I'm into this hobby. Like I knew I was like, oh no, I'm in it now. Like I'm done like playing games.
I'm in too deep.
But if you just to like keep I guess the theme of like things going on outside of keyboards, and if you don't mind me asking, I know you're majoring you majored in like health studies, like mental health studies.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm a psychology undergraduate.
Now, like, is there if like obviously like I know it can be like a sensitive subject like going into mental health, but did you like I guess like going into it, like did you know like you wanted to like from the get go like go into like psychology like helping others to whatever extent you want to explain
Uh,
obviously.
yeah, sure. I get what you're saying. So it's a long story. I'll start from the beginning. So I grew up in like a stereotypical like Asian strict household. They're like, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta get the straight A's, you gotta go you do. But like my parents didn't really care about me being a doctor to help people. They cared about me being a doctor to like make money, right? And like that's kind of typical, and I can understand like a parent wanting their child to be successful. But I was like, no, but actually not. I don't wanna be a doctor. I don't wanna be a pharmacist, like, and, my parents actually don't know I'm a psychology major. So what happened was, they were like they had this whole plan set out for me. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna go to the local university, and then you're gonna go to the local pharmacy school, and you're gonna be set for life." And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go apply to this college over in Boston, and the college name has the word pharmacy in it. So they thought I was going there for pharmacy, but like I wasn't. I actually applied to their health psychology program. So health psychology is a little bit different than just like regular psychology. Health psychology is kind of like I like to say the bridge between, like mental health and like physical health, right? Like how do we integrate psychology into like the healthcare industry? How do we like what one great example I give is like I did a little bit of research about like long-term care in hospitals, right? So like when you're in a hospital setting and you're there for a long time, you're probably not feeling very good. You're probably in pain. You're away from your home and people that may or may not be able to visit you and stuff. And there's like the mental health of a patient in the hospital setting is not something that a nurse or a doctor necessarily focuses on. They're there to make sure that you are well physically. But like as a health psychologist, we can examine that situation and be like, how can we improve, patient outcomes by like examining like what goes on in the person's mental health when they're in the hospital. And like that's a very specific subset of psychology that I found to be really interesting, but I didn't know that at the time. At the time, I was just like, I'm gonna apply to this college. Fuck it, I need to like move away from home. I applied to this health psychology major, and I actually ended up really liking it after like being in the program for a year or so. And then after that, I had some things happen in my own personal life where I had to reach out to healthcare professionals, and that it to me only solidified my love for psychology because like now I have like a personal connection to like what it means to be someone who is in need of mental health services and people who um will stand in as the professional side of your support group. And I mean that's why I continue to pursue it now.
That's like
Yes, King.
oh, is that the is that
Yeah,
the abbreviation of the school?
yeah, yeah.
Also, hello, Lee. Um, but I guess like I guess like going into it, did you like I guess like from before like in high school like were you like thinking like this is like I think this is the direction I want to go with things? Did you have like other plans in high school for I guess like sort of like the direction you wanted to take with your education?
So I think at the time, like I didn't want to be a doctor, but I was like, I do want to help people. I do want to be in healthcare, sort of. I in high school, like I didn't
To a level.
really know what I wanted to do as a career, but I was interested in like helping people. And I feel like through because like in Asian cultures, like mental health is like very stigmatized. Like we didn't talk about mental health growing up at home, and if you look at statistics for like Asian American people, like Asian Americans reach out at like less than half the percentage of the national average for like mental health services and whatnot. So like bringing awareness to like mental health within Asian communities is something that's very important to me, and that's kind of like one of my main starting motivators. Is like I don't talk about this at home. If I knew about mental health when I was a kid, or if my family was more open about talking mental health, then I feel like my life could have gone differently, and I feel like my goal or one of my goals that I had in mind starting out was like I want to bring awareness and I want to maybe help another kid in my situation who is in a family that doesn't talk about mental health very much, then and hopefully I could help them or make some sort of difference that way. But I didn't really know how. I just kind of thought that that was a good place to start.
I definitely not to I definitely say like I came from a pretty good and loving home, but like definitely like at least like in the Greek community, at least for a lot of like our like the previous generation, that was like my parents' generation, and definitely more so before that. Um, it's definitely like mental health is kind of like not definitely not like looked at. It was sort of looked at like going to therapy was like kind of like a weird thing. Like it's not a like if you went to therapy like something was like wrong and you shouldn't be doing it. Like you're okay. Like you're not. It's okay. Like you're just feeling things. Like get over it. Essentially, was kind of like
Mm.
I think the mindset growing up, and at least like now that like I've been getting older, like I haven't gone, but I've personally been like trying to like research and seek out. Not that I would say like I have anything like wrong going on. I'd say like I'm like mentally pretty good, but I think it's one of those things I've realized growing up that I think everyone to an extent could probably use therapy, whether it be for
Yeah, it's
anything
like
big or small. Like, um, but I definitely I guess like understand like the sentiment of like trying to explain to like the older generation, and I guess to come to terms with it yourself that mental health is real and is very important.
yeah, and I mean that's something that like in health psychology particularly is like even more important because like health psychology, a lot of it surrounds the idea that like brain health equals body health. Like if you're not doing well mentally, your actual physical health can suffer as well. And I think that like when you're trying to convince people that like mental health is important, like I think that that's a good point to bring up. Like it might not fully convince them that like oh I should see a therapist or whatever, or like it's not gonna change their mind that mental health does or does not exist. But by researching like connections that like your mental and physical health have together, like you can form like a stronger argument that like hey maybe you should pay attention to this. Like if you're gonna go to the doctor for a checkup every year, like maybe you should go to a therapist for a checkup every year. Like I feel like that kind of logic makes sense. So.
Even if it no, I 100% agree, at least from like because points like I think everyone kind of has their moments, like whether like I definitely wouldn't say I've never been like diagnosed, but I definitely wouldn't say I've like suffered from depression, but I feel like everyone, at least myself speaking, has like gone through those moments in life where you're just like holy shit, like things are like not good, like it's rough patches, you know.
Mhm.
um and like I've always noticed like talking about it, I've at least like happy like I have the personality, like I've never been one to like hold back my feelings. I'm not very good at like I talk, whether it's friends, family, whoever it may be that I have in my life, like I'll just voice out whether I think it's ridiculous or not, like how I'm feeling, because at least I've noticed like bottling things up never helps, whether it's just like finding people to talk to in general, whether it's a therapist or a friend or some kind of confidant always seems to help too. um
Mhm.
just speaking on things, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's a
And the stigma, I agree,
yeah,
it's a good
absolutely. Like
hashtag.
yeah, it's a damn good hashtag. I mean, like I think that like a broader, at least in American society right now, I think that like the idea of like mental health being something that people consider important, people consider something like is people are acknowledging it. I think that that kind of culture is changing. But like I said, within like Asian cultures, like I think Lee says like, oh yeah, when you tell an Asian parent that you're depressed, they'll tell you just to stop being sad. Like I had that shit growing up all the time. Like I still have arguments with my parents about like whether or not like depression or stress has an effect on someone, and like I think that a lot of my journey throughout psychology has been realizing like the different kind of biases that people have and like why people stigmatize mental health. And I guess hopefully one day I can aim to destigmatize mental health by understanding like the cultural viewpoint that people may have. Then like why is it such an unapproachable subject? You know what I mean?
No, 100%. And this is I usually like, ask this about everyone's hobby, but I'm curious if
Mhm.
there, I'm not sure if this applies to it, but I feel like there is. Is there anyone that sort of inspires you in the mental health field, like whether they've come up with their own like theories, whether they're like I'm this is like a total, this might not even exist, like if there's like renowned therapists that have come up with like I guess like theories, mindsets. I don't even know if I'm wording
Mhm.
it correctly, to be completely
Yeah,
honest
you're
with
good.
you.
I get where you're
Um
coming from. Okay, so this is it's kind of applicable to streaming too, funnily enough. So there's this one Twitch streamer. His name is Dr. K. He runs a Twitch channel called Healthy Gamer underscore GG. Let me see if I can link it real quick. Healthy Gamer. All right, I'm gonna link it in your Twitch chat. All right, so Dr. K, he is a Harvard professor who specializes in video game addiction. And what he
oh,
does
I've
right
seen
now,
him. I've seen him.
yeah, you probably
He was
if you
he was just on my like recommended page this morning. I
yeah. He's pretty big now. He started out just like as a practicing psychiatrist, and he studies video game addiction. And he tells about his story about like he was working as like a Harvard. intern, I think, and he asked one of his like older colleagues, like, "What do you think causes video game addiction?" And then they gave them like some sort of absurd, out of touch answer. Like they don't like these like the pace of science is incompatible with like the pace of the internet, right? Science is very slow in comparison to the internet. So like when we look at issues like social media addiction, video game addiction, he was kind of like, "You guys are so behind the times." So he kind of took it upon himself to like specialize in this kind of field. And as a Twitch streamer now, what he does is he interviews people, and it's kind of like a therapy session, kind of not like it's not like advice, it's not like actual medical advice or whatever. But he interviews people and talks through them about like their life struggles or like their problems that they may have in life. And I watch his stream. Every once in a while to like gain insight on other people, and what I think that is really valuable about Healthy Gamer and what I really respect about him is because like he does this to kind of have a larger AOE effect. He calls it AOE healing, and about spreading mental health awareness, having people openly talk about things that they may be having trouble with, and he's kind of just like a visionary in terms of like how to help more people in the age of the internet, and he does this by streaming. So.
And doing it on Twitch is even like I feel like
Absolutely.
it's incredibly meta in the like it is incredibly meta. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. He's a gamer himself too. And there's this one really funny segment he did where like there's like in like therapy there'll be like this thing, it's called like the feelings wheel. Feelings wheel. Let me see. I'll link it one to you.
Feel free.
So it's like a chart, and it has like vague, I guess it has like vague words like happiness and sadness and anger and fear and stuff like that. And then as you go outside the circle, it has like more specific adjectives to describe like feelings, right? So this can be useful to have people connect with what they're feeling. If you're a person that may have trouble like describing how you feel emotionally, like having a feelings wheel can be something that is a useful tool for therapists, right? So his idea is to do this, except with all like the Pepe the Frog emotes on Twitch, because we have like wide people happy and feels good man, feels bad man, but we have all these little different emotes because they all mean a little different things, right? Like in the feelings wheel here, we have violent, we have furious, like those are both anger, but let's get more specific. So he was gonna do it with like the Pepe emotes, and I don't know, that's just like peak internet. I really love it.
Like what a like wholesome niche like way to like it just like so specifically like there county where people are at like trained psychologists that focus on people with video games on the video game streaming platform,
Yeah, it's
and then
it's
integrating
really neat.
Pepe and then integrating the
Yeah,
frog.
absolutely. Like it's just like using all the tools available, I guess. Like in the age of the internet, and like how do you spread awareness quickly? Like how do you help a lot of people all at once? Like you just stream a therapy session to like 10,000 people. It's crazy. But just like on a fundamental level too, like um for him to look at an area of mental health, specifically video game addiction, that had not been explored before, and to kind of dig deeper into that kind of research is something that I would like to do. Like whether it be working in esports or working with video game addiction, like that. I mean, I'm a gamer too. It's like those kind of topics really resonate with me, and like I don't know, I'd like to be like the next Dr. K if that were possible.
And then why can't it be? And I feel like we've was the first time we ever talked when you came on my subathon back in January. Was that had we like ever actually spoken before then? Because I feel like we got you on and we just like you, me, Alex, and Yura just I remember just went into a very deep conversation for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like we just
Yeah, I remember
went
that.
in.
I don't think we actually
I
talked about it. I know I
hon-
like hopped into your streams, and obviously like you hopped in my
yeah,
streams, but like, I don't think we had like talked until then. So
but,
that's kind of
but I
crazy to think about.
but to be honest, like I think that kind of like speaks volumes about you and like that you're passionate about and like understand like your feelings and like I guess like taking on like because you came on to I mean like we've never like I like spoken before that, but I feel like we did like a good like it was good like way of like putting it out there and like expressing like I guess like how like we feel about things, which
Mhm.
is I feel like hard to do, especially with essentially strangers to a I guess to a like a minimal extent.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess for me, in terms of like my journey throughout life and whatever, like, I have just become comfortable with talking about, my struggles and my life because I feel like, how can I help other people if I don't have my shit together, right? And I spent a lot of time like unpacking a lot of things, and I feel like because I was comfortable with it, like if someone asked me, "Is like, what are you struggling with?" Like, and I'm totally down to talk about it. And I feel like if I not like lead by example, but if I'm comfortable talking about it, then maybe even if you choose not to talk about it yourself, you will feel more comfortable doing so. And I feel like that at an individual level, that's how I can make a difference in terms of like mental health stigma and helping other people. So,
It's good because it
what up,
helps.
Tim?
It's good because like it helps sort of set the tone a little bit. Like it makes it show that like I'm comfortable doing it. I'm like you said, like, you're setting the safe space for whoever needs to come forward and talk about things, which is fantastic. I think there's never enough of that. Like just creating like yeah, well, safe spaces, like a safe community for people to be able to come to and like feel comfortable if they need to talk about things or they need to just sit back and listen.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, 'cause that's what I would want for myself too. Like if I am joining a new group of people, or I don't know, like I'm not saying we have to like hashtag deep talk every day, but
no,
like
of
I want to
course.
feel like I want to feel like I'm welcome to express wholeheartedly what I am feeling, like without having to worry about judgment of others or stigma or whatever.
And because there's definitely been times I was going through around February and March, I was going through a pretty big rough patch, like in my life. Like things were not going right. I wasn't feeling good. Like I would like days were like dragging on, and I'd go on stream, and it was nice to have a place I could go talk. Like I felt comfortable like talking to whoever was there, whether it be my mods, the community, whoever would show up. But I also like centering myself. Like the community in general, I feel like has been like a very good safe space for me. Like we vented together about things. I vented Ben, whoever, everybody. Um, and it's nice. It's something at least I'm like very grateful for, and I guess like entering like the keyboard hobby specifically. I feel like you see at least in the Twitch community as well. Like I found a very like good set of people I can go to and talk about things.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone really deserves that like safe space to express themselves. And I understand that like in this world, some people don't have that space. And I used to be one of those people that I felt like I didn't have that space, but the only way you change that is by cultivating it with yourself, with the people that you care about, and that I don't know. There's just one small change at a time, I suppose.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I get this leads kind of well into the next thing. But is there? I feel like this might be a good way of putting it, but is there any?
Hmm.
Because you said you wanted to do something similar to Healthy Gamer, right? That was his name. Do you
Yeah, yeah.
do you have any like sort of like passion projects or ideas in the future that you would like to, whether it be like streaming, outside of streaming, that you'd like to, I guess, like kind of like try to bring to fruition over the next couple months, years, whatever you think it might be. If you don't,
Uh
if there is anything in, or you don't feel like feel comfortable sharing, also feel free.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just trying to think. Like, honestly, right now, my game plan is just to try to finish my fucking degree because, like, I'm still pursuing my undergraduate. Like, I'm a super senior at this point, right? And that's only because of like the things that in my life have kind of like gotten in the way of school. Like, I took a couple years off school because like one time when my counselor, I was going through a hard time, and she was like, education is always going to be there, but like your mental health, like, if you're not here to experience school, like you got to take care of yourself first. Like that's priority number one. So I took a couple years off school in order to pursue like in order to fix my mental health. And then now I'm back in school trying to finish my degree. And I feel like that's the big goal for me because when struggling with mental health, like I would go to school and then like drop out of classes and like fucking fail classes in the first 2 weeks because I didn't have even the energy to get up to go to school. So I feel like just getting my bachelor's degree is the only big goal in my life right now. I mean, aside from that, like as I mentioned earlier, like I would love the ability to change the stigma around mental health within, especially the Asian American community. But I don't know how to do that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Uh, I'm still kind of just figuring it out as I go. Like I feel like I have kind of navigated through life on like, good moral principle, and maybe I don't know, I'll figure it out.
Honestly, that's like a good way to. That's a good starting place. So, like leading by example is I think fantastic way to start anything. And how to get there? I feel like with any goal like that, and I love you kind of answered. I mean I'm big on the idea of pipe dreams in a sense. I know we've talked about it before,
Mhm.
but I feel like the best way to get to those are one step at a time. like, and they can be small steps. They don't have to baby steps. There's nothing wrong with them because at least if you can feel like you're going in the right direction, I feel like that's good enough for today.
Yeah, like and this is kind of not just like this is kind of a life thing, right? For me, at a certain point in my life, it was hard to exist from like hour to hour. Like my mental health was really that bad at one point. And I don't think like now I take things like day by day, and I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like it's not that I don't have goals, it's not that I don't have aspirations, it's just that I have to take things one day at a time. That's just kind of who I am. And I'll
And
get there, and I'm confident in my own ability to figure things out. And maybe that might sound naive to some people, but that's just kind of how I work, and that's how I'm gonna keep going until I need to figure something else out, I guess.
at least to me, I think that's a great mentality to have. I think I'd say I live pretty similar day at a time, but no. I guess like see the end game is a good way of like putting it. It's like no kind of like what you're working towards, but living in the moment I think is very important. Like don't stress about what happened yesterday, but don't worry about what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like you've got today to worry about, and that's okay.
Yeah, like, yeah. Life is just a bunch of todays, right?
I was tweeting for a while there to keep myself motivated. I was tweeting out, I'm like, you only get today once, make it count. And I tweeted that every day for like, I did it for like 4 months, and I think like enough feet. That was on like my main account a couple years ago. And my friends were like, are you good? Like you've been tweeting this every day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm just saying, like, you're not gonna have today tomorrow. Like you only get today one time ever.
True.
I feel like that almost sounds like fake deep. Like, yeah, no shit, we only get today once. But I'm like, also, it's like, well, yeah.
I mean, all cliches are cliche for a reason, right? They've got like, some little sprinkling of truth in the inside.
I mean, what's the my favorite? It's this too shall pass, and meaning that in a good way and in a bad way. Like, good things are happening, this too shall pass. Bad things are happening, this too. Like, if things are like, no matter whether they're highs or lows, just appreciate it for what it is, because it's gonna be gone at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask this before I ask this next question. If you guys do have any questions for Miss Stray Chroma, now's since we're at the back end of this interview, now's a good time to ask, and we can get to this after this. But if there's I tend to sort of end my questions with this one on the back end of the stream. But if you go back in time to a younger Courtney, whether it be high school, elementary school, whatever, what's a piece of advice you would give her?
It's a great question. I'm gonna answer this in two parts. So
Please.
The first part is that I often think of this question and I am thinking like, man, little Courtney needs so much fucking help. But actually, I think back at my past self and I'm like, how the fuck did I have the will to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to high school every day and do all this stuff and deal with all these like, dealing with like anxiety and shit. Like, how the fuck did you do that? Like, I have to give myself a little bit of credit there, right? I think that acknowledging previous struggle and the fact that you've gotten through previous struggle is good. You gotta pat yourself on the back a little bit. But if I'm going to answer that question at face value, I think one piece of advice that I would give myself is that like your life is like for you. Like you're not living your life for your parents. You're not living your life for your siblings. You're not living life to meet up an expectation from society or like your legacy or your ethnicity. Like none of those like previous expectations that were put upon you. You have to like, it's up to you to decide what you take seriously and to determine your own destiny at the end of the day. Your destiny is your own to write, and no one else can do that for you. It's like fucking some Prince Zuko shit, you know?
But like that's great advice. Like that's something you gotta like. That's I definitely like. That's advice like I could see myself giving my younger self too. Like, remember it's you. You know.
It's true, yeah.
Was that the part 2?
That was a part 2, yeah.
Okay, before I
give yourself a little bit of credit. The part 2 is like, but your destiny is your own.
You gotta shape it yourself. This is you. This is your canvas, baby. You gotta Bob Ross it yourself. I feel like you're the only one that could honestly answer this question. But Sean DePaulse asked, "What is the best pink switch?"
Ooh, all
This is
right.
the one time. This is the one time the keyboard community will allow you to say what is objectively the best of a certain type of Switch. What is the best pink Switch? I don't want a preference. I want you to tell us what's the best pink Switch.
Let me think. Okay, linears. I definitely think it's Pinoco's, but
And they,
tactile.
Adiana knows who you are. And there you
Let
go.
me think. Okay, tactiles though. I'm looking. I've got a lot of pink switches actually.
I can see them.
Yeah. I think tactiles. I'm gonna have to give it to the salmon switch because, like, I was thinking between Okamochi's, which is like the companion switch to the Pinoco, or salmon. But I actually think that in terms of like its sharp tactility, like the salmon switch, I like a lot better.
Okay. I
Salmons
haven't
and Pinoco.
honestly haven't tried either. I've been wanting to try Pinocchio's. I think did they just go on sale? Are they going into group buy soon? I feel like I saw a post recently. I'm
Someone
on a
told me
hiatus.
recently they bought them in stock. Hang on,
I'm on a
Pinoco switches.
hiatus.
Yeah, I think they might have them in stock.
I'm on a
Oh, they
hiatus right now
do.
buying switches. The only switches I bought recently were Lavenders and H1s, and those are the only switches I bought in the year of our Lord and Savior 2021.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been cooling off buying switches too. I have like 500 I need to loop still. I'm dying.
I have an aggressive amount of switches that I will never build enough for, and I need to just like lube and get rid of them because I will never have enough builds to get through these switches, and there's too many coming out that I want to try. It's just it's brutal. Um,
Super real.
Bread Mold asked this, and I like this question a lot. What do you all do to reset yourself? Like, to be honest, my life right now is going 60,000 miles an hour, and it seems like the little time I spend in stream is like my reset. I don't know. I just need advice. How do you reset? If you can't think, I can answer too.
You can go first. I think I need a little bit of time to think about this.
I think for me, it's I guess it's gotten better. Resetting for me has gotten better since I started working again. Because the last 4 months were kind of tricky because I was streaming like 4 or 5 days a week because I needed to give myself some sort of I guess regularity and schedule. Because just sitting around all day was not. I don't do well doing nothing. Like vacations, I actually stress a lot. Like when I like do nothing, I stress. I do not like just sitting around because I always feel like I should be doing something. But I feel like my reset time honestly is when and my problem is getting myself to do this is kind of a chore. But like when I like realize I'm like, all right, it's like getting kind of late. Turn off your computer, go lay down, and like I'll just like watch anime. Like I've been watching One Piece like in bed every night, and like Edward will come and he'll ball up next to me and he'll watch TV with me, and then like forcing myself. Like I've been trying to get in the habit of putting my phone on my desk and charging it to go to bed instead of next to me because then I'll stay on TikTok for 2 hours if I don't. So I guess like my reset's kind of been like the end of the day, and as of also recently like cooking a little bit. Like I've been like trying to teach myself to cook a little more. I've been meal prepping, like giving myself like I guess the chore in a way. Spence Fence, honey, I miss you. Sorry.
2 months behind on child's payment? What the
Spence is one of the first I'd say 3 mods. He's been a very busy boy. It's good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the tier 3. Mwah. Um, sorry, I had to make a point of that. But I'd say I'd say like as of recently cooking, like whether it be breakfast, dinner, it's typically hasn't been lunch too much, but and then like actually getting off Discord, like talking to you guys, whoever, getting off of Reddit because God knows I spend too much time on there, and just like laying down watching TV has been like a very good like a do nothing thing because it's like it's the end of the night. I'm allowed to do nothing, you know.
fuck? I mean, everyone resets a little bit differently, right? And I feel like that sounds very cozy. I
I
guess.
highly recommend it.
I wish I had
Also,
pets. Or I wish I was allowed to have pets.
Lulz, I'm always excited to see you, Mr. Lulz. Thanks.
What up, lols?
But what about you? If you thought of anything, just good ways to I guess like how you like I guess like reset.
I mean, I'm very, very introverted, right? Like I will like accidentally not contact people I care about for like a week. Like I I honestly feel like I'm very introverted, and the way that I reset is to like take time like for myself. Like obviously, I have my boyfriend who I love very much, and he supports me, and I reset by spending time with him as well. But like the way that I reset is I kind of take time to like I guess, process all the shit that had happened in the week, right? So if something good or bad happened, I like to really spend time by myself, either like looping switches or watching a stream or like just doing whatever hobby, and just like reflecting on like how do I feel about this, and this, and like by understanding and processing all like the shit that goes on in life. I feel like that helps me reset a little bit. I know that kind of sounds strange to like you're like thinking more in order to feel like reset, but like, I feel like the better that I understand myself and the better I understand like the things going on around me, like the more at ease I feel, and I feel like if I go and like don't process things, it kind of just sticks in my head and bounces around. And that's what makes me feel very distracted. It makes me feel like not rested. If I like don't deal with something, I go to sleep, I have a crappy night's sleep. I just like take time to sit and reflect, I guess. I don't know, that's not really like an active thing that someone else could do. Like, I'm not saying like, I don't know, do the 2 10 jumping jacks or whatever. You'll feel fine. But that's just kind of how I do it.
No, I see. I first off, well, what the heck? What the
Pause. Oh,
Spence, sir? What the hell? You didn't. Spence, thank you so much for 10 gifted subs.
wait,
You
I
did
thought
not
no
have
one
to
was
do that,
on.
sir.
Oh my
Spence,
god.
thank you so much, my man. You really did not have to do that. My penance for all my missed duty, sir. You do not have to. Thank you so much. That is incredibly kind of you, my man. I miss you. Let's talk soon. We've been worried about you. Oh my god, thank you, buddy. Um, but just back to that for a second. Sorry, Courtney.
No
Um,
worries.
um, I feel like I do something similar to that, like kind of like lay out and think about everything. But that is like my problem is like that's how I like psychoanalyze. I feel like a lot, and I'm like it happens like with my friends. I kind of like need to be in control of a lot of things. Like when I say like in control, like when I make plans with friends, I like to be the one making the plans because I it's almost like I feel like I don't trust other people to make plans. Is sort of like that just kind of like I like being just like knowing like I have the reins on things. So to
Mhm.
like sit down and like that is almost like something I feel like I do like every day, like to that extent. Except I don't do it to relax. I do it to make sure I can like. It's like what I do to be sure I can relax. Because if I don't do it, I won't be. I will be going to bed thinking like I'm like I didn't set a plan for this. I didn't do this. I didn't do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, how,
But it's interesting
like,
how like I guess like it works differently for each of us.
yeah, of course, everyone's brain is wired a little bit differently. I think that like, how do I say? Like for some people, like having plans is like in and of itself anxiety inducing. And then other people, they're like, oh, plans make me feel more prepared. And I feel like that's kind of a difference between you and I. I hate making plans. I hate making phone calls. Fuck all that.
Oh my god! It's interesting. It's been this is like I like at least like talking about like and getting people on here. Like it's interesting to see how like I guess like, people like you said, like people are kind of like wired differently. Everyone's brains kind of got um a little something a little bit different going on.
Mhm.
I guess like the way they like handle things.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like to think it like how we have like different eye color and stuff, and like no one really bats an eye. And like, do you think like maybe, and this is kind of just like my tinfoil hat theory or whatever. Like, maybe there's like a different types of brains, right? Like maybe some people are more creatively oriented, other people are like more focused and like they have strengths in planning or whatever. Like maybe there's just different. The people's brains are just kind of different. Like much like we have brown eyes and blue eyes and green eyes, you have brown, blue, and green brains, I guess.
I do
And it's
be
like
having the dark brown
understanding.
eyes. I do be
Yeah,
having dark brown eyes.
understanding if you like you got a dark brown brain too is important, like to understand yourself, life,
I
and
have a poopy brain. This is where my garbage brain goes. Like I have a garbage brain. That's the best way to put it.
it's okay, me too.
Oh my lord. But if anyone, we are at the back end of this. If anyone has any last second questions for the wonderful Courtney, Miss Straight Chroma, please, let them fly. But Courtney, is there anything you like to plug? If you guys do command guess, it'll link you to her Twitch. I highly recommend it if you don't already follow her, which I'm sure most of you do. She is a fantastic streamer. Um, But yeah, share away. What do you got, Miss Courtney?
Yeah, I have a Twitch. I'm working on a YouTube video. Soon to I
Ooh.
don't. I was. I'm working on a Milmax guide, but I don't really want to bring it up too much because it puts pressure on.
All
But
right,
yeah,
don't worry about
YouTube
that video,
channel.
guys. Don't worry about that
Don't
video until you see it. Then worry about the video. Just
Sure,
kidding.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm basically just on Twitch. I guess you can follow me on Twitter as well if you want to follow a person who's too obsessed with keyboards and art. I at twitter.com/straight chroma, as well as twitch.tv straight chroma. That's where you'll usually find me Monday through Thursdays. Currently at around 1 p.m. PST, but when school starts, I might have to change that.
Hey, and there you go. Until then, enjoy it while you can, because we do love having the Courtney streams. They get me through my work day. I like to have them on in the background when I'm working.
Oh, that's
Do I
sweet.
mean-
Thank you.
I do. I love when my friends are streaming, because it's like at least when I'm at work, you're one of the few that stream daytime. Because it's nice when I'm at work now. I put you on, and it's like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friends at work.
Yeah, it's like people tell me that they like that I stream during the day, and then other people are like, "But it's DJ hours in Europe. Can you please change it?" I'm like, I don't know. Which camp do I listen to?
That's how it was. That's how it was kind of nice when I was doing it during the last couple months, because it was nice seeing like a little bit more like your European followers like popping up. I mean, but it is what it is. It's either I do 8 p.m. streams or I do 4 a.m. streams, and we know the 4 a.m. streams are not going to happen. That'd be imagine being exclusively a U.S. East Coast 4 a.m. streamer.
Oh God,
Be a bit aggro.
I don't remember the last time I was conscious at 4 a.m. Oh my goodness! Like I have a bedtime and it is 10.
I wish I could say I don't know the last time I've been up till 4 a.m. But bars in New York don't close, so Saturday, if you were wondering. I'm baby. It was a lot. That was exhausting. Just to make it clear.
And I hope that you at least had fun.
I did have fun. We got Taco Bell after.
Taco Bell's
The
great
ending.
for food.
It's the ending to you had a good night out if it ends with Taco Bell. I don't make I simply do not make the rules. I just abide them.
Absolutely. What's your order at Taco Bell?
Oh God. Okay, so I have to get it delivered because they don't. If you just go to the window, they don't serve you quesaritos anymore. So steak quesarito. I always get too much food. I never finish it. But steak quesarito, a Crunchwrap Supreme, and a Doritos Locos Taco. But I never end up finishing all of it 'cause it's way too much food. But when I'm drunk, I have my eyes. This is actually sober too. My eyes are always bigger than my stomach when I'm hungry, like at all times.
Yeah, I usually I don't eat that much, so I just get the bigger crunch wrap. But that shit is so good, like with the Diablo sauce, amazing.
I have the thickest Ziploc bag of Diablo sauce in my fridge because when you order it online, they're like you have to order like individual sauce packages. Like how many do you want? I'm just like until I hit like 30 or 40. So they just.
Oh my god.
Well, I saw
Break
this is.
the apocalypse.
I'll actually never forget this. I saw a TikTok. I love that I'm closing on a TikTok about Taco Bell, but it was like the first TikTok was, "Yo, I ordered Taco Bell and I requested 999 Diablo sauces, and look at this." And he opened up. It was 2 bags, one with just food, and the other one was filled to the brim with Diablo sauce. And I'm not kidding. The next one I swipe up, it's like, yo, this dude ordered 999. We're giving it to him, and it's the dude who did the order, and he's dumping the Diablo sauce of just filled to the brim. I'm like, this is the best thing to ever happen in like the 5 years I've been looking on TikTok. Like the fact that like the algorithm knew, they're like, oh, he's gonna need to see the part 1 to this part 2.
That's amazing. That Taco Bell employee is a G.
Oh my god. But we have reached the end of our stream. Courtney, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on. I always love talking to you, dude. You're awesome.
I love you, Courtney. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on, making time.
Love you too, man.
I want to. I definitely would love to have you on again in the future. It was an absolute blast. I think we're gonna go raid Mr. Alex Odos. He's raided me a few times recently. So now I have the opportunity to raid him. So we're gonna go show Big Brother Alex some love. Thank you all so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Courtney, when are you streaming next?
Tomorrow at 1 p.m. PST. Catch me live twitch.tv/Stray Chroma.
So is that 4? That's 4 Eastern, right?
That is 4 Eastern. Yes.
Quick maths. So 4 Eastern if you're East Coast, if you're Beast Coast children like me. On time. Octagon is asking.
What do you mean on time? I've been punctual. What do you mean, bro?
I am I will be streaming next Thursday at 8 p.m. I'll be building a Stellar 65, and then Saturday I'm doing my birthday stream. If anyone's interested, I will be starting at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. No like subathon. Just some cool builds. We're gonna Mr. Stand pack on. We're gonna do a bunch of giveaways. We're gonna be revealing GMK Evil Eye vendors. We're gonna be giving away a base kit. We're gonna be giving away desk mat. All sorts of fun stuff. So I'd love it if you could be there. Fun fact, my birthday's actually Monday, but who the hell wants to do a birthday stream on a Monday? So we're doing it on Saturday instead. But yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much. Guys, make sure to check her out. We have 7 seconds. Love you guys. Bye, Courtney. Thank you.
Bye.